Flight attendant attacks Karoline Leavitt for wearing a cross. She instantly regrets it. You won't believe what happened on a routine flight from New York to Los Angeles. A simple piece of jewelry sparked outrage, chaos, and a confrontation nobody saw coming. It all started when Karoline Leavitt, a young woman traveling for work, decided to wear something deeply personal, a small silver cross around her neck. Little did she know this choice would lead to one of the most shocking mid-air incidents in recent history. By the time the plane landed, lives were changed forever, and one flight attendant would come face to face with consequences she never imagined. Karoline Leavitt wasn't just another passenger boarding Flight 457 that morning. She was a hard-working marketing executive heading to Los Angeles for an important business meeting. Karoline had always been someone who valued her faith. It gave her strength during tough times and kept her grounded in a world full of pressure. That day, she wore her cross necklace, a gift from her grandmother, as a reminder of where she came from and what mattered most to her. The flight started like any other. Passengers shuffled to their seats, stowing carry-ons and settling in for the 6-hour journey. The cabin crew went through their usual safety routine, calm and professional. Among them was Lisa Monroe, a veteran flight attendant with over 15 years of experience. Lisa prided herself on keeping things running smoothly no matter what happened up in the air. But today something felt off, though she couldn't quite put her finger on it yet. As the plane climbed to cruising altitude, Lisa began her rounds, handing out drinks and snacks. When she reached Karoline's row, she noticed the glint of silver at her throat, the cross. At first, Lisa didn't think much of it. After all, jewelry was common among travelers. But then something inside her shifted. Maybe it was stress from a long week of back-to-back flights. Maybe it was something else entirely. But suddenly, the sight of that cross made her blood boil. Lisa leaned down toward Karoline, forcing a tight smile. "Ma'am," she said sharply, loud enough for nearby passengers to hear, "we have policies about displaying religious symbols on board. Please remove that necklace immediately." Karoline froze, caught completely off guard. Her hand instinctively moved to the pendant resting against her chest. "I'm sorry," she replied softly, confusion written across her face. "I've never heard of such a policy before." But Lisa wasn't backing down. In fact, her tone grew even colder. "It's not up for discussion. Remove it now, or I'll need to escalate this further." For a moment, silence hung heavy between them. Other passengers glanced nervously, unsure whether to step in or stay quiet. And right there, at 35,000 feet above the ground, tensions began to rise. What neither woman realized was that this confrontation would spiral into something far bigger than either of them could have imagined. Karoline stared at Lisa, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't understand why this stranger was targeting her over something so personal. "Look," Karoline said, trying to stay calm, "this necklace means a lot to me. It's not hurting anyone. Can we just move on?" But Lisa wasn't interested in compromise. Her voice rose slightly, drawing even more attention from the passengers around them. "Rules are rules," she snapped. "If you don't comply, I'll have no choice but to call security once we land." The threat hit Karoline like a punch to the gut. Security, for wearing a cross. It seemed absurd, but Lisa's steely expression left no room for doubt. Reluctantly, Karoline unclasped the necklace and slipped it into her pocket, feeling a mix of anger and humiliation wash over her. Word spread quickly through the cabin. A man 2 rows ahead leaned over to his seatmate and muttered, "Did that really just happen?" Another passenger pulled out her phone, discreetly recording the scene unfolding before them. Social media was about to get its next viral moment, and none of them knew it yet. Lisa returned to her duties, but her mood had shifted. Instead of the composed professional everyone expected, she seemed agitated, snapping at passengers and rushing through her tasks. Some began whispering among themselves, wondering what had gotten into her. Was it stress, bias, or something deeper? Meanwhile, Karoline sat silently, staring out the window as clouds drifted past. Her mind raced with questions. Why had Lisa singled her out? What kind of person let their emotions spiral so out of control in front of dozens of strangers? And how could she make sure this incident didn't define her day, or worse, derail her career? About halfway through the flight, things took another turn. The plane hit unexpected turbulence, shaking violently and sending drinks spilling onto laps. Passengers gasped, gripping armrests as the pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. "We're experiencing some rough weather, folks. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened." Amid the chaos, Lisa tripped while carrying a tray of empty cups, crashing to the floor near Karoline's row. Passengers nearby instinctively reached out to help her up, but Lisa waved them off, clearly embarrassed. As she scrambled to her feet, her eyes locked with Karoline's for a brief moment. There was something new there now: regret, shame, whatever it was. It only lasted a second before Lisa turned away, busying herself with tidying up the mess. When the turbulence finally subsided, the atmosphere on board felt different. Tension lingered, but there was also an undercurrent of curiosity. One brave passenger approached Karoline during a lull in service. "Hey," he said quietly. "Are you okay?" That seemed intense. Karoline nodded, forcing a small smile. "Yeah, I'm fine, just ready to get off this plane." But deep down, she wasn't fine. Something about the confrontation gnawed at her, refusing to let go. Back in the galley, Lisa struggled to shake off what had happened. She replayed the argument in her head, cringing at how harsh she'd been. The truth was, she hadn't meant to cause such a scene. Stress and fatigue had clouded her judgment, and now she was paying the price, not just professionally, but personally too. As the plane descended toward Los Angeles, the tension reached a breaking point. Passengers exchanged uneasy glances, unsure whether the drama was truly over, or if another shoe was about to drop. And unbeknownst to anyone, one final twist awaited them all. When the wheels touched down, the plane touched down at Los Angeles International Airport with a gentle thud, signaling the end of a flight no one would soon forget. Passengers unbuckled their seatbelts and began gathering their belongings, eager to escape the tense atmosphere that had filled the cabin for hours. But just as Karoline stood up to retrieve her bag from the overhead compartment, Lisa appeared beside her. "Karoline," Lisa said, her voice trembling slightly. Can I speak to you for a moment?" Karoline hesitated, unsure what to expect. Part of her wanted to ignore Lisa entirely. After all, hadn't she already caused enough trouble? But curiosity got the better of her, and she nodded reluctantly. "Fine, what do you want?" Lisa glanced around nervously, then lowered her voice. "I owe you an apology. What happened earlier? It wasn't okay. I let my frustrations get the best of me, and I took it out on you. That was wrong." For a second, Karoline didn't say anything. She studied Lisa's face, searching for any sign of insincerity, but all she saw was genuine remorse. Finally she sighed. "Why did you do it?" she asked quietly. "Why pick on me over something so small?" Lisa hesitated, clearly struggling to find the right words. "It's complicated," she admitted. "I've been under a lot of pressure lately, personal stuff, work stress, and seeing your cross, it reminded me of things I've been trying to avoid thinking about. My own faith, or lack of it. I guess I lashed out because of that." The honesty caught Karoline off guard. She hadn't expected this kind of vulnerability from someone who had seemed so hostile just hours ago. Still, she couldn't shake the lingering hurt from the confrontation. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone," she said firmly. "That's not something I can just forget." "I know," Lisa replied quickly, "and I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I hope someday you will. All I can do is try to make things right." Before Karoline could respond, a nearby passenger interrupted. "Excuse me," he said, holding up his phone. "I recorded what happened earlier. Is it okay if I post it online? People should hear your story." Karoline blinked in surprise. "My story?" "Yes," the man continued. "What happened here today? It's bigger than just one flight. It's about standing up for yourself and your beliefs, even when others try to tear you down. If you're okay with it, I think sharing this could inspire a lot of people." Karoline looked at Lisa, who gave her a slight nod of encouragement. For the first time since the incident, Karoline felt a flicker of empowerment. Maybe this ordeal wasn't just about humiliation, it could also be a chance to spark meaningful conversations about respect, tolerance, and understanding. "I'm fine with it," Karoline said finally, her voice steady. "But only if Lisa agrees too." All eyes turned to Lisa, who swallowed hard before nodding again. "If it helps people see how important it is to treat each other with kindness, then yes, I agree." As passengers disembarked, many stopped to thank Karoline for handling the situation with grace, or to commend Lisa for owning up to her mistake. By the time they stepped off the plane, the entire dynamic had shifted. What had started as a bitter conflict ended with a fragile but hopeful connection, and a powerful reminder that even in moments of anger and misunderstanding, there's always room for growth. So, what started as a routine flight turned into one of the most unforgettable mid-air confrontations anyone could imagine. A simple cross necklace became the center of a heated argument, exposing raw emotions, personal struggles, and ultimately, an unexpected moment of redemption. Karoline walked away from that plane, not just as a victim of unfair treatment, but as someone who stood firm in her beliefs and inspired others to do the same. And Lisa, she learned a lesson she'd carry with her for the rest of her career, that even small actions can have big consequences, and owning up to mistakes takes courage. But here's the thing, what happened after they left the plane? Did Karoline decide to share her story online? How did people react when the video went viral? And how did this incident change Lisa's approach to her job, or her life? If you want to know more about what happened next, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll be diving deeper into real-life stories just like this one. Moments where ordinary people face extraordinary challenges and come out stronger on the other side. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Lisa deserved forgiveness? Would you have handled things differently if you were in Karoline's shoes? Let us know. We read every single comment. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the smallest objects, a cross, a word, a gesture, can spark the biggest changes. Until next time, take care.